Well, hello there and welcome to 2025. A brand new year means a brand new season of the Worldwide Championship will come on us. It's upon us. Yeah, upon us. I definitely meant to say that. The 2025 WRC season is just around the corner with the first round in Monte Carlo less than a month away, meaning a brand new fresh challenge will open up for all competitors. Some will achieve the moments of their lifetimes, others not so much. But I'm not here to talk about the present, not yet at least. Instead, I want to talk about the future. Specifically, I want to revisit the 2027 WRC regulations. Whilst I have already talked about these, there was one aspect of the rules that I didn't really get to talk about, and that is the performance of the cars themselves. Now this video won't be about the whole 2027 regulations themselves, because I already made a video about them, plus adding in my opinions on the rules and what I would personally change. Check out the video if you haven't. But instead, I want to talk about one specific aspect of those rules that I didn't get to talk about, and that is the performance stats of the cars themselves. Now in that video, I mentioned that at the beginning, teams will only be able to use internal combustion engines with the option of using hybrid and or electric powertrains later down the line. What I didn't get to talk about though is that those ICEs, plus some other performance related parts such as brakes and transmissions, will be based on those used in current Rally2 machinery, the class below the top class. And this is the worrying aspect of the new regulations. With so many parts being shared and based on the Rally2 cars, this means that there is a real fear that the lower class machinery could once again be faster than the top class on pure pace and speed without any other outside circumstance being involved. Now you might be sitting there and thinking, what do you mean by once again? Well, that's because back in the 1990s, this actually happened. Sort of. Back in the early 1990s, the WRC needed to find a way to grow back and regain some of the popularity that was lost after they abandoned the absolute death traps that were the Group B cars at the end of 1986. Their solution was to create a support class or support championship that will race at the same events as the main championship but in lower class machinery. And so the F2 cars were born. Not to be confused with the Formula 2 cars, which are Formula 1's main support series. The main rules of these cars is that they had to be 2-litre naturally aspirated front-wheel drive cars compared to the top cars of the time, which were 4-wheel drive and had spinny turbo thingies. Over time, more modifications were allowed on the F2 cars, and the advancements got so far to the point where, whilst on the majority of rallies the top class machines were faster, on tarmac, that's where the Uno reverse card is played. You see, 2-wheel drive cars, regardless of front-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive, tend to have better handling compared to 4-wheel drive cars. And as I mentioned before, the F2 cars were 2-wheel drive, front-wheel drive specifically, and the top cars are 4-wheel drive. So knowing that, plus factoring in that the F2 cars only had a 20 horsepower deficit to the top cars and were significantly lighter, it meant that on tarmac events, the F2 cars had a genuine chance of beating the top cars on pure speed and taking overall victories. And this madness would reach its peak in 1999, where at the Rally Catalunya and the Tour de Corsa, both of which were full tarmac events, a Citroen Zara kit car would claim an outright win, beating all top class machinery on pure speed, and at the latter of those claiming a 1-2 finish. Because of this, plus some other outside factors such as costs, the F2 cars would be no more after 1999, and since then there has always been a significant speed difference between the top cars and what we now know as Rally2 cars across all rallies and surfaces. Now I probably could have done this video without mentioning those F2 cars, but I thought it would be interesting to mention them, seeing as there was a time when the quote slower cars were actually faster at some events, and that we could possibly see it happen again, but on a much larger scale. What I mean by bigger scale is that the new WRC 27 cars, with a small performance difference compared to Rally 2, could be slower than those Rally 2 cars across all rallies and all surfaces. Now you might be thinking, well, if there is a performance difference, big or small, then the top car should still be faster, right? Whilst on tarmac that would be the case, on other surfaces, not quite. There are two important things we do need to mention here regarding the non-tarmac rallies, which, when added together with the minimal speed differences, means that the Rally2 cars can legitimately be faster than the top cars. A lower class machine being faster than the top class machine, that's kind of like a turtle being faster than a cheetah, or a man having a small sausage. Just like how illegal immigration is a hot talking point in certain countries, road sweeping has always been a hot talking point in the WRC anytime we go to an event that isn't tarmac. Now allow me to try to explain what road sweeping in rallying is. Road sweeping, as the name would suggest, is when the road gets cleaned up by cars driving on it. Let's use gravel as an example here. So gravel roads are filled with many small loose stones and stuff like that, which makes the road less grippy compared to tarmac surfaces. Now when a rally car or any car drives on a gravel road at speed, those little stones get pushed away from the road, revealing a grippier surface, and as we all know, more grip equals more speed equals faster stage times. And obviously because multiple cars compete in the WRC, the more cars drive past, the road gets cleaned up more and more over time, meaning that the cars who start their stage times later have significantly better road conditions compared to the ones who started earlier. Now whenever road sweeping is brought up, the running order of the competitors and cars is always brought up alongside it. I think everybody should know what I mean by when I say running order. It is the order in which each competitor goes to set their stage times. Who starts first, who starts second, you get it. What is important for this video is in which order each class goes. It doesn't matter if a Rally2 driver is ahead of a couple of top class drivers in the standings, or if a top class driver is behind all Rally2 drivers in the standings. For every single rally, all of the top class cars go first, followed up by all the Rally2 cars and then the other categories. So the fastest cars go first and the slowest cars go last. And that is the case for every single stage, minus the final power stage on Sunday where it's flipped. With all of that now mentioned, we can now stick ourselves deeper inside the juicy hole and get a bit more specific about the speed concerns of these new cars. Now as mentioned earlier, the main concern here is that the speed difference between the new cars and the Rally2 cars will be too small. Now on paper you would think that if the top cars have an advantage, then there should be no worries, right? Well, if the road conditions for both classes were the exact same, then probably yes, but as we just talked about, that's not quite the case. With all the top class competitors going first, sweeping up the road in the process, it means that by the time the first Rally2 cars line up to start their stage times, the road will have been cleaned up so much to the point that whatever small advantage the new top cars had will be deported far and far away, and the Rally2 cars will have a real possibility of beating them and claiming outright podiums and wins. And if that is the case, then the spectacle of the sport, well, it won't be the same. Not in a good way though. So what could be done to combat this? In my view, there are two possibilities. We could either nerf the Rally2 cars' performance, or ensure that the new car's speed will be the same as the current Rally1 cars. Either way, there needs to be a significant performance difference between the new cars and the Rally2 cars, big enough that even with the road sweeping, the Rally2 cars should still be slower. Because otherwise, what's the point of building a brand new 2027 car from scratch, when you can just build or buy and maintain a Rally2 car for loads less and still be competitive? So in conclusion, the new 2027 WRC cars, whilst promising in many areas, in other key areas it's not looking particularly great. The idea of many performance parts being based on Rally2 cars ignites the fear that the actual Rally2 cars could genuinely be faster, and as a result the popularity of the WRC could easily dial down very quickly. Now obviously what we know of the new rules so far isn't the complete finished product. Some things could be changed later on, but if things are going to be changed later on, then one of the things that needs to be addressed is the actual speed concerns of the new cars, because we don't want lower class machinery to embarrass the quote unquote top class. It just wouldn't make sense, just like how it doesn't make sense to last only 5 or 10 seconds in the bedroom. But this is where I'm going to be signing off for the day. Let me know what you think of the new 2027 rules. Do you like them? Do you hate them? Give me your juicy opinions. And if you did enjoy this video, then consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel as well for future uploads. The future has a lot of question marks, but hopefully the good answers will come. But I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.